Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome as we return to the Hungaroring for your sim racing world DSL Welding Services V8 Supercars on your lovely Sunday night. Give us a shout out wherever you are from right around the world. You know exactly how much we love the tuning in globally, internationally, as it has become part of the sim racing world traditions. My name is, of course, Scotty Rattlegun Rank, and alongside me this evening is Mr. Sim Racing himself, Tyson McAvoy. Tyson, Hungaroring. It's made for some tight, twisty action all week long. A little bit of bumping, a little bit of grinding. Overtaking's difficult. We're in for a tricky one here tonight.
Yep, we should just call it a single file. Whoever gets pole position is going to win the race. That's my bet for tonight.
All right, that's it. Give up. We're done. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're out of here.
That's right.
Well, oh, Lord. It's going to be an early night, I think, with the way that that's going. Anyway, we're into qualifying. We've just kick-started on qualifying. Probably an opportunity to talk a little bit about the layout of the track. It's tight, it's technical, it's twisty. Your boys have obviously been doing their practice as they always do. They're good little boys on your team?
Nah, I think they had a day off today. A lot of the other guys were, like Dodsy's got some technical issues. He won't be joining us tonight. And Cowie had a Father's Day gig. So also to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. And yeah, we're on the kind of the back foot for this track.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, qualifying, like I said, has just begun. A few drivers are just hitting the track to start their first flying laps. We've got an opportunity to ride on board with someone. Indeed we are. So I'm not 100% who we've caught on here. PG will be, I believe we're on with Ty Delaney there, or Paul Gerland, somewhere around the tail end of that pack, as they start their flying laps. You know who that is? I see immediately on screen. Sorry, is Mr. Lob. Always good to see the South African. I'm enjoying talking to him every week as well.
Yeah, a lot of the cars out there tonight look a bit like they're taking it a bit slow. We've got a pretty cool track for qualifying, don't we? It's a 23-degree track, 23 air. So it looks like a pretty chill night.
Gonna be nice and cool, everything flowing onwards as it so stands. Well, Tyson, if you had to pick somebody in the early running here, have you had to flick through the qualifying lap times, sorry, the practice lap times, and come up with somebody that's probably your preferred top performer for the early running of this so far this evening?
Definitely that's going to be Steven Sinkovich, I think, for that. He's always on the go, he's always fast, fixing all the problems. No, I think it's going to be tight, especially with a few fishy boys at the front. So if whoever gets in that lap time and really breaks out early, we've got an hour race, 22 laps of fuel, I think we heard in the pre-race from a few drivers. So again, it's going to be who's going to use that fuel to benefit them on the long run. As you see, Darren Lobb use a very weird line there to get the extra run down the straight.
Well, he's going to come in and potentially go to the top of the board nearly straight away. Tanak jumps out to the early pole position. Michael Quash just had a reasonable lap. Turner's there alongside Dylan DeBono as well. Jamie Dyke's a little bit further down. Probably didn't set the initial lap time that he necessarily would have liked to get out of the blocks, but such it is. So
yeah, this track as well, you know, it gives and takes. If you use too much of the road, you get that off track and, you know, spoil your lap because you've got so much runoff on the sides, especially like cars like Jamie Dyke. You know, he started off with a 46.86 and I think he's only just joined the session not long. So I'm not sure how many laps this guy's got under his belt, but he's one of those drivers that will, you know, click on as he goes on.
And generally does so as well. Know that he's been doing a lot of endurance racing over the course of the weekend so far as well. Car around, and that'll be a quick reset back to pit lane and try and attempt a new lap and new time.
Yeah, these boys have got 15 minutes here. We're already 5 minutes into to quali, so you know, you want to kind of really get that banker lap in early and try and push on, because as I said, you're getting off track, it sets you back, you go out again, you get another one, you kind of just want that sandwich banker lap in here.
So we'll have a few people that will be looking to get out of the blocks now and try and get out and get those banker laps done. 5 minutes or a third of the session already out of the way. We'll see if that's going to speed up, slow down, which direction we're going to start heading in. A few cars now coming through towards the final sector. Clutterbuck's actually done a reasonably quick. In fact, it is the purple last sector, meaning the fastest sector so far run by anyone today. Or in this session, I should say. So Clutterbuck will jump up a reasonable margin.
Well, there's a bit of a parking lot on the back there with Bruce Tannock. I think he's just waiting for a gap as well. He seems to be pole sitter at the moment, waiting for that fresh air, because it is a pretty short track. And yeah, I think DeBono's kind of doing the same there in front of him, trying to get some clear air, and maybe they might work together. You know, DeBono definitely wants to tow, but it looks at him, he's trying to sit behind. So some games here being played by these two drivers.
Got to line yourself up, don't you? Got to settle yourself in and set the qualifying effort up.
That's right. DeBono's got a really good run off the air, so he's just bailed out. Bruce has said, "Yeah, no, you're not getting a tow off me, DeBono," and bails out. So as we can see already, we're only on 7 minutes into qualifying, and we got some games happening. So it's entertaining. I love it.
Always entertaining here, man. I don't know what you're on about. It's always entertaining.
Oh, we saw the other night in the TCR cars how entertaining that was. A few games being played in that. And, you know, the Supercars, our super show here on a Sunday. And, you know, these guys won't disappoint either, because we've had a lot of good racing at this track. And these Supercars, you know, I don't know, Scott, what do you think, Scott? Do you reckon it's going to be a safety car full race, or do you think maybe, you know, single file?
Well, with an hour ahead of us, I mean, anything theoretically could happen. There is a couple that I'm sort of looking at, got my eye on, that I'm thinking probably might have a little bit of a crack at something. But, yeah, look, I mean, anything could really happen, let's be honest.
Yeah, and it is early stages. A lot of these drivers, as you said, did some enduro racing. I think they were doing the Daytona 24-hour. That was on
Daytona
today.
24. There was a Sandown 500 running. There was a few things going back and forth.
Oh wow! So yeah, we had probably drivers, a lot of those drivers, you know, in there doing that stuff as well. We got 31 here in the session, so we've got a big field for tonight. So everyone loves to drive, and this must be a, you know, I wouldn't say fan favorite, but a driver track that these guys like to come to.
I mean, that's just it. It's a tricky track. It's not a racing track. You don't show up here at the Hungaroring and go racing. It's about where you can set yourself up in terms of the qualifying order. Qualifying times now trending towards 9 minutes into the session, and Tannock still has control of field. Not seeing a hugely quick lap there from Lob either. And that's starting to concern me just a little bit. There he is. He's on a purple sector all the way through, and he will indeed jump through. He sets the fastest time in all three sectors on his way to the fastest lap so far today. So that is a barnstormer for Lob, and, well, with the job done, he can go for a little bit of a spin down in turn one.
Yeah, he got the job done, and he said, yep, thanks, I'll take that, and spinning around. It was a celebration. Darren Lob to the top with a 44.92. So we're seeing these top two, you know, a 44.9, then a 45.6, and then a 46.2. So as you can see, there's some different times in our top three at the moment.
That's just, yeah, that's it. I mean, you know, time's drifting back. Super 2 drivers are up towards the front end of town at this point in time as well. So we'll see how they manage to get themselves through the early running order. Who's got the pace? Who's going to be able to show it? 5 minutes left now in our qualifying session. Remember, we've talked about it a few times over the last few weeks, but when it's a full session like this, it means that drivers that start a lap, provided they are on a lap when that timer runs out, they will get to finish that lap. So a few drivers that will be on laps now will have the opportunity to get themselves back to pit lane and have another crack, including the one on screen at the moment. Dylan DeBono's not set perhaps his best lap so far of the race, or of the qualifying session, but he will indeed have another crack. So anyone you got your eye on in particular here, Tyson?
Well, Darren Lovesley, you know, gone out there and set an example of his quality lap. No one else is really, you know, threatening him at the moment. He's coming out of pit lane again just to have another one. But we got a few fishy cars in here that are, you know, not really doing much. They're just, I guess, setting the pace maybe. Because we got Jamie Dock again just rolling out of pit lane, getting ready for another lap, as he does a long out lap. But yeah, as we see the time street, there's a lot of green there, but not much purple.
Well, we'll have to see if they're going to find the pace. 23 degrees Celsius is track temperature at the moment. If they're out of pit lane, lap time here about, what, 147. So for them to get a lap in, they don't want to bring the tyres in too aggressively, either do they, Tyson? So you'd sort of want to be rolling. Anytime about now, you'll get one crack at it. You'll get one more crack at a flying lap, as indeed the 07 car will come across the line, which is Ty Delaney. He'll have another crack at a line. A lap. Sets one now. Is he going to tow back to the pit lane?
Yes.
Yeah, he's running offline, so he will get an opportunity to try and set one more lap. Yeah,
and there's a few of the other guys as well, just starting their prep laps, getting ready, because yeah, you're running out of time for the for that top spot to be taken, and it takes, you know, one lap. It's a really cold track. You don't want to burn your tyre. You want all the grip, especially for those S's in the middle there.
Yes. So, running down towards the end of qualifying at this point in time, it is our Melville Equipment Corporation pole position award. The Melville Equipment Corporation qualifying session coming to its conclusion, and Darren Lobb will improve his lap time right now, go to a 44.921, so he will improve slightly and stick the marker that little bit further out there. Don't know that he'll have another attempt. That might just be it. Is there one lap in the tyres tonight, Tyson, or?
Yeah, it depends how much you take out on your out lap. I think one lap's probably the fastest way and, you know, the safest. It saves you running dead on the end of the sector, especially with the S's in the high-speed corners. I think, you know, you'd rather go the one shot.
Well, Bruce Tannock and Blake Delaney. Blake Delaney actually still hasn't set a lap time in qualifying, so I'm a little bit worried about that one. And who else has not set a lap time? Representative lap time, Michael Locke. So Blake Delaney will only get one shot at it. David Coleman's another driver. Dylan Thomas is our safety car driver. Greg Barber's a safety car driver. So it's just Steven Sinkovich as well. So the drivers yet to set a lap: Michael Locke, Blake Delaney, David Coleman, and Steven Sinkovich. Delaney's only going to have one crack at this. Will he be able to set a representative lap time or not? We will find out. Chris Miller on board there as well. Change of livery for the driver of the 666. That's David Coleman. So he will get around. Whether or not he's picked himself up on off track, one incident point will cancel out your lap, but Coleman will get one more crack at a lap as well. Manages to get himself up to P13, immediately shuffled back to P14 because Chris Miller behind was on a faster lap as well. Sinkovich is out there and on a lap at the moment, so that will move one driver further out of that. Locke and Delaney, the other two that are still yet to set that lap, and Blake Delaney will come through to the line now. Doesn't set an altogether barnstorming lap from Blake Delaney. Actually, it didn't count, I don't think. So he's starting his lap now. Indeed he is. Yeah, he's off of turn number 2. So that's Blake Delaney there on screen. So we'll get that lap started. Tight technical Hungaroring as qualifying comes to its conclusion. 30 seconds, under 30 seconds. We've got 20 seconds left of our Melville Equipment Corporation qualifying efforts. Don't forget to let us know out there in the chat who you're following along with from home. We love hearing about who your favourite drivers are in the piece. Just don't talk about any of Tyson's drivers in the chat. We don't want to hear anything about those guys.
Always hit a lot of the curb there and maybe got a curb strike / off track there, so...
If so,
yeah,
that'll be a rear of the grid start.
Yeah, he definitely did, and that's why he's gone into a drift mode and went park it.
Right, so he will not set a representative lap. So that is a Blake Delaney starting from the rear of the field in a 1 hour thriller from the Hungaroring. Qualifying has now waved its checkered flag. Coming out of the last corner, I believe is Chris Miller still on another lap. That's Andrew Cowan on the way through the middle sector. So he's on another lap time here as well. Qualified P15. How's Cowie feeling? Comfortable? Not very comfortable?
I didn't get a chance to chat with the boys. Had a big day myself, and as I said, Cowie had a gig today as well.
So Matty Keane will be the next driver that'll be across the line, followed by CH. We have a driver with the initials CH? Callum Hodgkinson. Yes, we do. Oh, you always spot it immediately after you're thinking about who would have those initials. Anyway, Matty Keane will cross the line, followed by Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson will improve his time. Cowan's going to cross, will be the next car around. It'll be Jared Sanfuentes, and Jamie Dyke will be the last car to cross the start-finish line. Be interesting to see how many laps Blake Delaney does. With a long day today, he may actually opt to pull that car over nice and early. So Sanfuentes will come through. Last driver on the lap now, Jamie Dyke. Last week, he picked himself up a pole position and was doing burnouts in the background at the end of qualifying. Will he improve his lap? Indeed, he does. Jumps into P3 as the last driver to set a lap. Darren Lobb only just came out of the pit lane, so he is not on a lap time. He just wanted to be out there on circuit when qualifying finished. All right, qualifying run and done. It'll be Darren Lobb who'll line up on our Melville Equipment Corporation pole position. Reasonable start to the session. He is 0.7 of a second, Tyson, quicker than everyone else. That is a huge marker. But Tanek is 0.6 of a second faster than Jamie Dyke. So there's a huge spread in our opening couple, and then there's only thousandths back to Sam Noble as well.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see. The gaps there, I was quite surprised that, yeah, as you said, 0.7. That's pretty hefty in a supercar, especially at a short track like this.
Well, that is it from round number 6. The DSL Welding Services V8 Supercars. Once more, another Melville Equipment Corporation pole position goes the way of Darren Lobb. Lining up alongside of him, though, will be Bruce Tanek. Throwing it back to P number 3 is Jamie Dyke from the Fishy Motorsports car. Sam Noble as well will line up alongside of him. Dylan DeBono, and probably what has been his best qualifying performance for the V8 Supercars this season on P number 5. And Michael Quash, that's a phenomenal time for Michael Quash. He's going to be lining up of position number 6. Alan Dawson continues his run of strong performances in P7. Kai Turner alongside of him in P8. Daniel Clutterbuck, another top 10 qualifying position for the TMX Global driver. And Troy Dooley are going to round out your top 10. Then we throw it back to Stefan Lawrence, who's looking for a little bit of that pace in the early running of things here. Might show it in race trim. Alongside of him, Gerard Sanfuentes, Chris Miller, and Andrew Cowan in your top 14. David Coleman and Paul Gerlin, 15th and 16th. A long way back for Coleman. We've seen a few times this season how little that matters to Davey Coleman. Paul Gerlin will start off with P16 alongside David Blake. Brad Wall in P18 alongside Matty Keane. Keep your eyes on those two to go toe-to-toe one more week. In P20, Peter Pavlovich. Reese DeGoey will start off the next row. Dean Sinkovich in P22. From P23, Daniel Fritz, Mal Powell, Colin Hodgkinson in P25, Ty Delaney, Greg Johnson will be the last driver in the field to set a lap time. Blake Delaney, Blake Delaney and Stephen Sinkovich both not getting their laps in due to incident points. And your safety car drivers tonight are Dylan Thomas and Greg Barber. Sorry, Michael Locke at the back. I did forget to mention in P32. So there are 30 drivers that have entered here tonight for the Hungaroring Sim Racing World DSL Welding Services V8 Supercars. Lights are on, and they're going to be off, and away we go on the run down to turn number 1, and Lobb does not get the best roll from the outside of row number 1. That is going to present an opportunity to Bruce Tanek, and look at the drivers still filing their way through. Tanek's down the inside. Look who else is having a crack down the inside. It's Dylan DeBono, and if Formula One's taught us something, don't try and send it 5 wide. Going to turn number 1 at the Hungaroring. They'll all shuffle themselves in. Still 3 wide in the middle of the pack. I believe that was Andrew Cowan who had his nose shoved 3 abreast. And down the inside, I believe that's the new livery from Chris Miller, trying to grab a few spots in the opening piece of this. And Blake Delaney's grabbed a few on the opening lap as well. He's got a really, really good start from the tail end of the finish. He's going to grab another spot, and Delaney's up a ton of spots Moving forward, Quash, how has he managed to get through the start? Yeah, pretty reasonable. Will lose a couple spots in this opening lap, but it's to drivers that he's not necessarily racing. Super 1 drivers starting to slice and dice their way through. Kai Turner among those up ahead of him, so he's going to use a little bit of caution down and around the outside, and that is already paint scraped off of Dylan DeBono's car as well, as Stefan Lawrence is up a whole bunch of spots, and Delaney's going to get tagged! Delaney's around! And what has been a disastrous opening lap for the Fishy driver, he's forced to just park the car up, and there's nothing that he can do.
Yeah, he was in a pretty tight spot. He had a great start off the start. As you said, he got a lot of positions there and just got unlucky on the inside, trying to make a move pretty late after the 3 cars. Went 3 wide, made contact. A bit unlucky.
It's quite hard to get a move done down in there into the chicane, though, or just anywhere around the Hungaroring. But if those cars are going to be able to race, it's going to be the V8 Supercars, and Delaney's gone to the rear of the field. He'll have to try and get himself through.
It looks like Cowie's trying to limp back to pit lane, but he's made
Wall!
contact.
And Brad Wall's missing his rear wing as well.
He's just missed pit lane. Oh no, Brad Wall just missed pit lane. I think he was trying to go through, but he's got a lot of damage on that car.
There's a car in the rear that's missing its front bumper, and so is Andrew Cowan. There's 3 cars missing bits and pieces. Cowan's going to send it down the inside. He's got a damaged car. Brad Wall's going to turn it in from the outside. Didn't know that he was 3 wide, and Cowan picks up all the marbles.
Cowie got 2 into 1 there. It's not a bad pass, but yeah, as we saw, the 2 cars there got heavy damages. Oh, he nearly gets
down the inside now. Yeah, he's going to get that move done. Was that Hodgkinson? It was indeed. I think Hodgkinson was trying to get the move done on Brad Wall. And, well, that's looking more like a sedan every time we see it from Brad Wall, but I think he's going to want a little bit of rear downforce around here.
Yeah, lucky enough, they got also in the pit garage, I think, 2 fast repairs for this race, so they can go in there once they made their pit stops.
It's Paul Gerlin, actually, that I was looking at in the background. I've just noticed Paul Gerlin's the guy that's missing his complete nose on that car. So there's Cowan's, the first one of those. Then Brad Wall is missing his rear wing. Keep your eyes in the background here. Yep, that's Paul Gerlin, the 74, that's missing half a car worth of bits and pieces. So if you're looking for some memorabilia out there tonight, little bits and pieces sitting on the circuit, I'm sure there's a whole ton of them.
Yeah, I might go after the race and pick some up myself, because might be able to use them again on my car.
Well, I've got bad news for you, Tyson. They don't fit a TCR, so...
well, I'll make them fit.
There's nothing that duct tape and a hammer can't make work. Anyway, Blake Delaney's already starting to respond back up inside the top 30. He's moved up, I think, where's he up to? P26, so he's already on the move, is Blake Delaney. And have a look at the field just filing down here into turn number 1. And Mr. Shibby Howard behind the scenes once again. You reckon we can grab a track map? Oh, Greg Johnson in the background of that shot. Tries to pick up the throttle and nearly goes around. And now Gerlin is just limping that car down the main straight. And it's going to be trying to file it down the inside. That's one of the Delaneys. I believe that is Blake Delaney that'll get down the inside there on Paulie Gerlin, who is just limping backwards as Daniel Fritz will try and get it down. That is the field spread. Remember, there are 30 cars out there on the racing surface at this point in time. And I'm hoping some of those cars that had damage have managed to get their way into pit lane.
We've had a lot of action on these opening few laps. We've got cars damaged everywhere. There's heaps of spread out field. And as you said, we got one of the big front runners all the way down the back of the field as well. So he's got to crawl his way through. He's only in 26th, started 28. But he's got a long way to go, especially where Jamie Dyke's now up, still sitting in P3.
Well, I mean, he made 10 spots or so up on that opening lap until he was facing the wrong way.
That's right. He was on a charge and he was doing it quite well, and he got unlucky with 2 cars making mistakes. As we see David Coleman get a bit squirrely under the brakes there.
That looked like an early downshift. That looked like compression locking in the rear tyres there as he goes for an early downshift and just locks that rear end up. Well, he'll settle it all back down yet again and see if they can't get themselves underway once more. Darren Lobb still controls this field. He's already broken the toe. He's out to a 2-second lead at this point in time. We're at a 46.0 that last time, like 46.8 for Bruce Tanek. So 0.8 of a second that last lap clear for lob over Bruce Tannock. Jamie Dyke is going to go with these guys and still just be behind Bruce Tannock, and Sam Noble's dropped a little bit of a way back. So that front end of the pack starting to field spread quite aggressively in the opening running of things. With an hour on the books tonight, you said, what, 22 laps you're looking at, Tyson, for fuel?
Yeah, so it depends on, obviously how much you're going to save fuel. This track is, I wouldn't say a fuel-savvy track, except for the big straight. So I think around 21, maybe 22, off the numbers that we were given at the start.
Well, that's Delaney you're watching on screen at the moment. I've just noticed as well, off on the side, is that Dylan DeBono's just gotten a move done as well. So he will get by Kai Turner and slot back up in P6. It was actually done right here as we watch Reese DeGoey head into the right-hand sweeper at the top left corner of that track map on your screen. But already that field covering half the circuit. That's just field spread. Everyone just gets checked up when they're all running in a little pack. You can't run peak pace in the first couple laps because somebody breaks different times, different spots to you, and you just can't carry the momentum the way you want to carry it.
Yeah, that's right. And a few of these guys as well got to really manage the how much of the track they use, because they've only got a 25 incident limit for tonight, and if you get 25 incidents, you face a drive-through penalty. So it'll be quite tight to see who gets that. Hopefully none of our drivers get that, but you never know, especially with a few bank cars like we see here on screen with Cowie.
I was going to say, that's a guaranteed 4 incident points for Andrew Cowan, Paul Gerlin and Brad Wall, because they're all missing bits and pieces off of their cars. You can lock those guys into it straight away. Kai Turner and Dylan DeBono, this is the battle I was speaking about. DeBono got his way past. Steven Sinkovich was actually buried into a wall as well, and he's actually already made his way back to pit lane.
He just coming out of the radio, I think he was just apologising because he already said to the tow truck driver he'll give him $20 if you get him back to pit lane quick. So that's what he's done. And he's got back to pit lane really quick without the authorisation of the race control.
So Paul Gerlin's in pit lane already, so he's come down to grab that fast repair. I don't think he can make it from this early stage, so he will have to probably make another stop, but he's losing far too much lap time at this point in time. Needed to come down and grab that fast repair and has now done so. Cowie's still hanging around there. Where's Brad Wall in terms of things? I believe he hasn't come down pit lane. He's still P20, so that's actually not a bad run from Brad Wall.
Yeah, at the start of this race, I think it's the best option. I try to teach the boys, first stop, you want to go long. You really want to try and push as much as you can. Obviously, a few drivers have got the damage and might be hurting them more, but even if you got the damage as we see on Cowie's car, you try to get to that one. You want to make a one stop. You don't want to go twice if you don't have to.
Yeah, but is it worth it? It's that crossover point, isn't it? So there's the two drivers with damage running right next to each other. It's so weird watching a V8 supercar running around without that rear wing. Brad Walby, his rear tyres will be screaming for grip. It's Cowie's trying to get a move done. Big lock up. And nearly into the rear bumper of, I believe that was Dean Sinkovich ahead of him. Now the two guys have got damage all over those two cars are going to go down the inside of each other, so it'll be Wall to the inside. Cow will be struggling from a little bit of engine damage, so he'll be down on straight line speed.
Yeah, he'll be also
Brad
down
Wall.
on his front grip, so...
Brad
yeah,
Wall.
he's trying to hold it there. He's not giving an inch, and Brad's saying, nope, I want this position, but he's going to have a car leaving the pit lane in front of him as well, so that's going to be tight down the inside. Is he going to get it done? Oh, that's a good job from that car leaving pit lane. Just gave him all the room there. I think that was Sinkovich as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that was Steven Sinkovich, so he would have had a whole bunch of drivers in his ear. Hey, get out of the way, mate! Get out of the way! Because Dean's only just ahead of these guys as well, and Brad Wall will be in there and talking to him for sure.
Yeah, he's going to hold it around the outside, I think, and he has. He's got a very good run through there. The battle of the damaged cars. But they're still side by side. And now he gets it up. So it was a good driving there by Brad and Cowie. Cowie goes too deep. I spoke too soon. And Brad's got back down the inside. Good job, Brad. Cowie says, nope, I want it back. Give me it. Is he going down the inside? No,
He's not onto it. He's got away with it. Blake Delaney can fly through it at the same time. Oh, they got away with that one. Oh, Lord. Righto.
It's starting to smooth out. I'm saying no smooth. This is action everywhere.
Do you think we've got time for a replay in the middle here somewhere, Tyson? I don't think we do. I think these guys are
there's too much action.
Right, we're looking for a few different replays in the background, ladies and gentlemen, of how a whole bunch of those cars ended up with missing pieces and where Tyson can go walking around the track after the race to pick up bits of carbon fibre and body and slap them on his TCR on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, but I just want that aerodynamic gain I seem to miss in qualifying. That might help me if I chuck a few little things on the side.
I was about to say, I think you're looking for an extra cylinder down there that you'll just attach to everything. So this will be one of the issues. This is how Blake Delaney found himself facing the wrong direction. So the car just in front of him checks up just a little bit. He'll try and fire down the inside.
Oh, he's actually rubbed back a Cowie. I think that's what started it.
Bad wall.
Sent Cowie wide, sorry. Yeah, so I think Brad's hit Cowie in the butt, and he sent Cowie a bit wide. And then they've gone too wide in there that forced it 3 wide with Blake Delaney. Of course, that could be different from a different replay, but that's what it looks like has happened there.
Delaney's done well. He's just parked the car there on the right-hand side of the road and said, look, if I go forwards, I'm going to fire back out in front of traffic. I'll just park it up. So it was all the one incident. So this will be a second angle that we'll get on top of things here. So Brad's just come back across a little bit.
There's contact in the rear there.
Tiny nudge,
wide.
Unsettled Cowie. He's trying to not get the move done that way. That would be considered a bump and run. Looked very unfavourably by race control, and they're 3 wide through the chicane. It's a struggle to get through that chicane.
And then the contact on the rear. Car 74 straight in the back of Brad there.
Well, that explains Gerlin and Wall. But at some point, Cowie's missing a front. He's missing his bonnet as well. So that's happened further on in the lap. So Cowie's got away with this.
That's right. Cowie's still got a bonnet. Bang! Look at that impact.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why in real life we use head and neck safety devices, or the Hans device that straps their neck in so they don't get whiplash injuries, because you would get a whiplash injury right there.
Oh, we just got over comms as well. De Bono, I think, might have been involved in an incident. We still see one of the fishy boys, David, trying to push on here, make a pass. He's in
Kai Turner, I'm sure, because those two are racing each other quite hard, so...
Delaney's only got, his left side of his car's got a little bit of damage, but the right side of the car looks nice, so we might try and keep it on that side of the car for now.
That's what I was going to say. All photos from the right-hand side of this car, please.
Yeah, see, nice shiny fishy on the side.
The Piranha looks better when you're crossing.
It looks like it's a Piranha's taking a chunk out of the side of the car, to be honest. But P19 is pushing through the field nice and clean up to that early incident. We haven't heard anything from race control through penalties or anything, so so far so good. And they've got a lot to do tonight. We've got a big pack here tonight. We've got 28 cars on the grid, and as I said, we start again in that single file format. The leaders are pulled out to a nice gap out in front, and all you got to do, get in that rhythm. You make a mistake, it costs you. So, especially when it comes to pit stop time.
So much easier when there's nobody around you. Darren Lobb a few weeks ago from Catalonia said, this is actually boring. He doesn't like this. This is not the kind of... Winning's fun, but he'd much rather go out there, race people, and think about how to set up his moves. And, well, he's picked up a whole bunch of points from winning races, but he'd much rather be out there and door banging with a few drivers and get the job done.
Race control come over the comms then with a... order for a car, I think 05 to redress a position, so car 05 has to, car 5, sorry, has to make a redress.
Yep, and that'll be with Dylan De Bono, so that's exactly the battle that we're actually talking about, so that'll be important as well. And it'll be critical for Kai Turner to get this one done as soon as possible without losing a spot at the same time to David Coleman, because De Bono right now and Coleman are going head-to-head. So as soon as we can, we'll jump across to that one, and Coleman's got to go around the outside.
Oh, he's hit the fence, and that's a major accident there.
Car. That is 100% going to be a safety car. That's a car attempting to redress. Does that not remind you of Wingcup, McLaughlin, and Garth Tander from Bathurst?
It does. That is exactly what I was thinking of then, because he's gone for the redress and smack straight to the fence. Look how slow car 5 is there, and he's side by side with Coleman. Car 5 is like, Well, car 5 actually is not involved in that, I'm not sure.
So that's interesting. So DeBono's immediately just done. That'll be his race basically over and done with. Kai Turner, well, we've got an interesting prospect. This is something that race control will not be able to deal with all that well. I know that there's a car in the middle of the lap who's about to have its engine expire as well. Darren Lobb will jump down into pit lane as well. So race leader, I think just about the entire pack is going to jump into pit lane. Safety car is chilling in between turn 1 and turn 2 at this point in time as everyone files down and through. But Tyson, race control have got an interesting prospect on their hands here because Kai Turner is attempting to redress the position. Is he considered to be an obstacle there? There's 3 or 4 different things that race control are going to have to look at for one incident.
Yeah, that's right. As we see a few cars here go into pit lane and a few cars that don't. This is perfect for those cars early, like Delaney, who had a little bit of damage. They can get that damage repaired, plus take a bit of fuel. 20 minutes in, 10 laps in to the stint. These guys are going to have to stop again no matter what.
Well, Brad Wall, one of the damaged cars from the early running here, is actually gone straight by. So he's opted for track position at this point in time. Petar Pavlovich, Daniel Clutterbuck have both opted to not take their first stops. It's going to be in between Jamie Dyke and Sam Noble. Bradley Wall's gotten through there as well. Reese DeGoey, Callan Hodgkinson. A whole bunch of drivers that have opted to get themselves out of the chasing pack, but they're going to have a whole bunch of quick drivers running past them.
Yeah, I think I'm to be the same. If I'm at the back of this pack, what's the point of going in the pit lane and being at the back again? You know, if you can get a free pass on like 20, maybe 15 cars, it's best taking it because it's all about time. It's not a fuel strategy race. It's the time race. So we're 17 minutes in. You want to get to that halfway mark. As soon as you're at that halfway mark, you know you can pit because all those other cars have to go down pit lane again. There's no way they can make it home from here.
Well, I'm just looking at it, and I'm looking at potentials here, Tyson. From where we are right now, there is an option of about 24 laps to the end here. If you can save 2 laps of fuel and extend that margin, you can go from here to the end. The guys, there's going to be a few different pace strategies going on, and it depends how long this safety car is out for. If it's out here for another lap, I think with just a tiny little bit of saving, it won't be much, the guys will be able to get home. So anyone that's just pit won't have to pit again.
Yep, but they're also got to pass cars. So saving fuel, passing cars, and having the speed. There's 3 major factors there, and I think they're not going to take the saving fuel game. They want to get past the traffic, because if they don't, they're going to be a pit stop behind no matter what.
Well, there's also guys on older rubber here in the middle of all of this. Guys that are on lower fuel levels as well. So how much does that play into things? With a restart here, it's going to be a single file restart, hopefully. Be an opportunity for a few drivers. I'm looking at Blake Delaney to get aggressive on this restart and try and pick himself up a whole bunch of spots. I think it was Clutterbuck that was facing the wrong direction on that lap. Alan Dawson picked up a ton of damage there as well. That's the missing rear wing of Brad Wall at the back end there. David Coleman is coming back to pit lane.
He might be going for that 2-lap difference of fuel as you were speaking of before. He likes to save fuel, that man, so that could be what he's doing. I'm not sure. But while we've still got half a lap to go on the safety car, I might want to just try and get one more angle. We can get a different angle of that incident with DeBono in that redress, because that is going to be the talking point of the stewards there.
Okay, this is interesting because Coleman didn't actually stop. I don't think. I think he's just driven straight through the pit lane.
That's a strange one then. As we see the chopper chase here of the car 5 redress / incident with the fishy. So the fishy car, I think he's just avoiding the car 5 there, but he hasn't considered at all that DeBono's on his outside. And then bang,
That's Quash, I believe, there in the TMX car. So San Fuentes has got through. That's Alan Dawson's motor, who's just immediately decided that it's going to give way. There are some seals in that engine of Alan Dawson's at that moment that are not working properly. And DeBono just immediately toes. He's had enough.
Yeah. Also, he'll probably get a penalty. Is he back out on track at the moment, or is he still on the pit lane?
No idea at this point in time. There's, yep, so he's just running. Malpal's just rejoining the track as well. So there's a few different things going on here.
Yeah, so Damona's back out on track. He's definitely going to get a penalty for that. You've got to request the tow to get back to pit lane. We're going to have a wave around here as well for Sinkovic. He's going to get his lap back, but it seems race control's left that a bit too late, I think. Here, kind of near the end of the lap.
How pretty is that new safety car as well, the McLaren 570S, honestly? You've had a drive of that thing this season, haven't you? Too, Mr. McAvoy?
Nah, I've never driven it.
Why? You're not a safe car driver?
Nah, there's never been a safety car while I've been racing cars. Because you seem to say I've got a trigger finger, mate, so I've avoided that conversation.
You've been waiting for that to come up all season, haven't you?
No comment. But yes, I have driven that car. It's a lot of fun. Driving it here, I think the other night in the Porsche, we had a few safety cars, and I really pushed it. Safety car staying out again for 1 more lap, so the safety car's now been extended.
Definitely make it from here to the end of the race now. So those extra laps chopping away as this goes on. I'm actually wondering whether or not David Coleman had actually got a drive-through penalty for incident point limit. So, because it wasn't a race control issued penalty.
Oh, you could be right there, yes. So he can just go into pit lane.
He's coming back in again.
I have to keep an eye on that.
He's driven through the pit lane again. If he grabs spots here, it'll be because pit lane is faster than the circuit.
Yeah, but pit lane exit should be closed.
Should be closed. So Coleman's in the lane now, and he is actually taking a stop. So the last time by, he did a drive.
He's just grabbing fuel. He's just grabbing fuel. See, race control hasn't closed pit lane. The race control have made a massive mistake here, and they haven't closed pit lane. These guys are getting free fuel, walking out like it's nothing, even though pit lane should be closed.
Because you've always got to wait for the safety car queue to file down pit lane. Come to the end. Whilst there is no queue, which is why you see stops in Formula 1, you can just in and out.
So,
anyway, something for race control to have a look at. They've got a lot of mess here to clean up. I do not want to be in that booth tonight.
Yeah, it's good to be in this one for once. And this end of the, you know, we kind of got a bit lucky. These guys, you know, the wave around Sinkovic will catch up and get them back to this trade. Got a little pause here. I still really think fuel is going to be tight. Like, it's too close. We're 23 minutes in. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Interesting. I'm really curious about what's going to happen here with David Coleman, because that's just not right. You can't just feed into an active queue.
Yeah, I didn't hear a call from race control, and
yeah, me
there was nothing in the chat like that the pit lane was closed. So these guys have just, I can't say they're taking advantage of it, but they're taking advantage of it.
So anyway, we will chill back out. Safety car is coming through the final sector of the lap. So there's been contact on the safety car. We're receiving word as well.
We might get that up and relay before we go green.
Interesting.
As we get it up here, I think this is a replay. Ty Delaney is involved in. He's just avoiding a slow car there. Yeah. So he's just making he's just avoiding an incident there. So made it look like a crash. Typical fish you want to get on the TV.
So we'll settle things down. Might be enough time to go back green this lap. It should be one more lap, I think. We're too close to that final corner, so. Yep, so there's What's happened
Wow,
now is
safety car is saying out again.
yeah, so race controls just grabbed the drivers. So exactly what we were just looking at. They've just grabbed all the drivers that use the pit lane to go in and grab an extra top up and feed back into the queue. They've just sent them to the back, which is exactly what we were expecting.
Yeah, this is actually going to really help those other guys that have stopped. Because if they can just turn the engine off, roll down, it's leaning back to 26 minutes now. You use as close as you can get to that halfway mark, the better. And yeah, Coleman just wants that fuel. I think that's a really smart option. Take that fuel, because Coleman could be in a really good spot now to win this race. And I don't want to say Coleman for the win, but I'm going to say Coleman for the win.
So you think this is now going to be a fuel governed race?
Yeah, so all the fuel he's done, it's something you do in Oval, and I actually learned it off, and I hate to Scott, the man in the rattle gun. He kept saying, you know, go in there, grab that fuel, play that fuel game. And it got me a decent podium in one of the IndyCar races I did a few weeks back. And he was just like, his strategy was he had the speed to get out the front and race the guys, but I didn't really have the speed. So I always go in the pits, grab the fuel every single lap under caution. And I had 2 laps advantage over the guys. They all had to splash. I didn't have to splash, and I got up the front.
Well,
So
it's,
it
I
was
mean,
a
it's,
good race.
even if you do have to splash and you're attached to the lead, in IndyCar it's very, very different, because IndyCar it's all about drafting, completely about drafting, right? And a lot of those cars, the fields sort of condenses.
So here in race control again, having some more problems with supercars going through the pit lane.
And making overtakes in the pit lane. You can't do it. The pit lane is a safe area. It's not to be used to overtake. You use to come down to come to the service of your crew. Yeah.
That's what he likes to do it.
So anyway, we'll be back to green flag racing again at the end of this lap. Anyway, time to do our mid-spring review for Pagnian Advanced Imports, Dragon RC, who you can see on board, and Melville Equipment Corporation, and DSL Welding Services as well. So if you're interested in getting involved in racing remote control cars, indeed on dirt, there's obviously you can do asphalt. I've actually got a few friends in the States that do asphalt oval racing with RC cars as well. If you're interested in getting involved in any of that, jump on over to Dragon RC. They're going to get you set up with everything that you need to go remote control car racing, whether that be dirt, whether that be asphalt, whether that be with all the fun flying through the air, or whether that be all on the ground. Dragon RC are going to be the guys to get you started. An optimal time for us to go back to our live coverage as well, as Darren Lobb is leading the field of the hungry V8s, who are now hungry to dump a whole bunch of horsepower to the ground, and they'll get our fuel save race back underway once more, as Tyson McAvoy suggests that there is going to be a splash to be made. Jamie Dyke's teammate last week proved to us all that you can do a one-stop race around Fuji. Can Dyke learn a thing or two from his teammate? Can he save enough fuel to get himself home? Blake Delaney will be looking to grab a whole bunch of spots here as well. Looking back into the midfield, Chris Miller in that green and yellow car on the left-hand side of things boxed in. I think that's Matty Keane immediately ahead of him. Indeed it is. It'll be Keane who actually locks up. Miller locks up as well. So there's a few drivers pinching brakes. Cold tyres means they're just that little bit underwhelming with the amount of grip that they have available to them. Miller will slot back into P15. Dawson's actually going to be to his left-hand side at this point in time. They'll try and go through the kink at the crest of the hill too wide, settle themselves down, shoving a nose to the inside. Indeed, that is Blake Delaney who will try and get down the inside of Alan Dawson. And now it's looking for a move. Miller had to bail out of that throttle then, and it's going to be Dawson who winds up with both spots, and now Delaney's forced to settle himself back down. Michael Quash was attacking the rear bumper as well, and they'll all manage to get through there, single filed out and settled in. Now the KFC car, Padar Pavlovich, has got himself a fight on his hands with Clutterbuck immediately under his rear wing, and the top three have skipped clear as the rest of them come diving and looking for every little option. It'll be Noel to the inside of Clutterbuck. trying to get that move done now as well. And Lawrence will line up to have a crack at both of them here in a moment. Brad Wall's still there in the mix, albeit still missing that rear wing. Very good for fuel efficiency when you haven't got a giant parachute hanging out the back end of your car.
Yeah, I think one of the 666 car had a drive-through, not a drive-through, a slowdown penalty, and Delaney actually couldn't go through because he was blocked by the slowdown. So it was quite interesting there. Was as we see this bright
huge shot to the inside barrier, and that is, I'm going to say, Dean Sinkovic. Because that looks like his car. Because the only other car in the field, or Paul Gerlin will be the other one, potentially back down there. Because Brad Wall's at the front end of things. That was a huge shot to the inside barrier. So whoever that was is coming back down pit lane to serve themselves a fast repair. And we've just been made aware it was Dean Sinkovic. Have a look at Kai Turner, who was the top end of that queue of cars, trying to sort themselves out and issue his redress to... before we got that safety car period. Brad Wall's going to defend this one down the inside. Eventually, Kai Turner will get through, and it turns out when you go through a fast kink at the top of the hill, you want a little bit of downforce, and, well, Kai Turner's got a full wing load more than Brad Wall. Oh, damage to the left front corner. Chris Miller and Dylan DeBono's going to grab another spot, and we've got another safety car. There are 2 cars backwards in the first sector. There's not just one. 29th and 30th, I think, is 005. David Blake. So it's David Blake and Dean Sinkovic.
Oh,
2 cars in the back.
What's he done there?
No. David Blake's
Coleman.
still rolling. So
Yeah,
it is Coleman.
And Sinkovic.
So Sinkovic was the first one, and DC on the chat is not David Coulthard for all you previous Formula 1 fans. It's David Coleman. This is after the contact with the wall at the tail end of it. So this was the car that we saw spinning in the background of that shot coming out of the last corner.
He's just got on the gas.
Lit it up.
Straight in the fence. Yeah.
Fired it in the inside barrier. So we'll have another crack at this, and now the cars that have pit under that first safety car can guaranteed make it to the end of the race. David Coleman was whipping out to try and get a move done there. Oh, Dean. Oh. Oh, no. So what's happened here to David Coleman? Daniel Fritz is off the track and trying to rejoin, and Coleman's done it on his own.
No, I think he's actually taken evasive action for that car rejoining, and he's just taken too much steering and just in the fence. Yeah, I think that's what's happened. Like, there's no other way. He's already finished the corner, and he's just that's a strange one. Again, we'll see here the car off on the left there, and they're coming back on the track. Yeah, because he's already finished. He's already straight, so it's probably the only explanation. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's have a look. So we'll jump on board. So he's hit the apex nicely.
No, he's already doing it.
Yeah,
yep.
he's already done. And he's just, stuck that fish in the fence, and it's just stuck there. Flapping around. It was destroyed.
It looks a little bit like a stunned mullet, not a piranha. That's okay, boys. I'm here all week. That's my dad joke for the week.
I was just choosing to ignore it.
Look. I can actually hear the drivers in the background. They're having a little bit of banter with all the safety cars. This is an oval thing. When you get up to and Shibby Howard won't know about this because he hasn't gotten that far in his NASCAR career yet. But once you get to the NASCAR trucks or C-Class and above in iRacing, they have automatic full course yellows, much the same as we do have on Monday nights. And you get a few of those back together, people tend to get bored and start chatting to each other. And that's what's happened in the game server tonight as well. So, Darren Lobb will control the field. It was a quick safety car. There's a car backwards in the queue, and there's a parking lot.
Yeah, what's happened there?
By Delaney, backwards. Darren Lobb has got control of this field. He's about to fire it off, and Daniel Fritz has got damage to the nose of his car.
What is going on there?
I would say
These
this
guys
has been
think
a
they're at the
checkup.
yellow because they haven't gone yet.
There's a checkup. There's a huge checkup, and Fritz is just completely unsighted. And then Delaney has just fired it into the back of him as well. So anyway, we are
Wow.
back to green flag
What's
racing.
that car doing off the racing line there?
With the one on the
Oh,
right,
wow.
Chris Miller. This is Mal Powell attempting to rejoin. So
Again, I'm glad I'm not race control tonight. I get to be in the com box and see this carnage.
I've got another father a dad's joke for you here actually tonight for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all our fathers out there. We're in Hungary, right? So is everyone out there just a little bit hangry?
No comment.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So,
it's been
ladies and
fun.
gentlemen, he's fired.
I think it's the most appropriate. You can't have dad jokes on Father's Day. You can never have them. You want to know the best part, Tyson? I'm not even a dad yet. I'm only a cat dad. I can tell them to my cats and they can't complain.
No comment. Is there a car? I thought I just heard contact. Yeah, there is. It's Bono.
Bono's backwards again.
He's got a hell of a lot of damage there. What's going on there? He's just got no rear, right side smashed up.
Insta bone. Far out. Everything is happening tonight. Did somebody point out the Maccas to them? Well, there's a KFC car on screen. Maybe that'll settle a few of the boys down. Oh.
Yeah,
Going back very
going into turn one. Troy going down the inside here, and then the car behind is that Delaney. Yeah, it's Delaney going down the inside. We got two passes into one corner, but he's on the wrong side of the track here. Delaney. He's going to have to do it the hard way around the outside, but then you'll have the inside for the next corner. Some good driving here, as they're going to go too wide through here, but the runoff can give you a slowdown.
So anyway, they'll settle themselves back in here. And we're on board with Matty Keane, who's now defending furiously from Callan Hodgkinson. And it's Delaney that's still trying to get by these guys as well. Hodgkinson swings it wide. Delaney's going to slot down the inside. Dawson's having a sniff in the background. Sanfuentes is all in this mix. And who's going to get through here? It's still Dawson alongside Hodgkinson. Yep. Hodgkinson's finally going to yield that one to Dawson, and now it'll be the next fight on for who's next in queue to have a crack at Callan Hodgkinson.
Oh, no,
Hodgkinson gets tagged!
Yeah,
and around he goes.
Contact there.
Well, still not settling down here in Hungary. You thought you couldn't overtake here in the TCR race from what we saw on Wednesday night. The V8 Supercars are proving otherwise.
Well, they're not overtaking, are they? They're just making contact.
It's tricky here tonight, is the one thing that we have learned. Because everyone is having scrubbles about who should be where. It's probably the right night to have gotten that pit stop out of the way early and take a safety car trip to the front of the field. So, anyway, either way, field is back underway once again. Lob is extending his margin out in front once more, but it's going to be Bruce Tannock that is under assault by Jamie Dyke. I've just seen Michael Locke going off in the background on my screen as well, but that looked like an unforced error from him. Matty Keane is going to fight here with Blake Delaney, and Delaney is still the outside of Mr. Keane. And Blake Delaney is going to force him to go too wide down the hill, and finally Matty Keane will yield, and Blake Delaney is only one spot now away from sneaking his way inside that top 10.
Yeah, he's been quite on the back foot since qualifying. You know, he couldn't get the car qualified. I'm not sure for reasons why. And then as soon as he got on the grid, no problems.
Big wiggle there on the way to the right-hander at the top of the hill. That's turn number 5, and now will get away with it down in the chicane. Nearly got that position, and then immediately yielded it back. He was trying his hardest to.
You see Cowie here in the back of the field too, 17th position.
Tough night for Cowie. He's just has not looked settled in that car all night long. But he'd be having fun, mind you, because there's been some good racing action. If there's one thing I've learned about Cowie, he prefers to go through corners too wide whenever he possibly can.
Yeah, that's right. He's a racer, and that's what he likes to do. He likes to battle, no matter where it is, position 10, 20, 30, 50. He just likes to battle, so he'll be having a blast.
Well, this is the battle inside the top 10 as Blake Delaney tries to close in on these guys now. It's Dooley's going to try and cover it. Degowie's wide on the way in here. Troy Dooley will get away with this one. Degowie's going to get a run out of the final corner. And the 3 cars that are yet to pit in this race as well is Petr Pavlovich, Daniel Clutterbuck, and Reese Degowie. We have now hit 20 laps complete. We're at the start of, the 20th lap. We've got 19 laps in the books. And now Blake Delaney's going to rotate that car nicely down through turn number 1, get the job done, and then set off down towards turn number 2. And 3 cars are still yet to pit, and that's Petr Pavlovich, Daniel Clutterbuck, and Reese Degowie. And Degowie was holding up that chain of cars. Now they're all starting to make their way around him. Pavlovich and Clutterbuck are still chained together. That's them, you can see just up ahead, going up the hill. And now everyone's lining up to have a crack here at Reese Degowie. Troy Dooley's gotten through. Matty Keane will be having a look. Indeed, firing it down the inside is Matty Keane. Degowie locked a brake. Now the car in the background will be having to stoush with it as well. And that'll be Dawson who'll be next up for the crack at Degowie. And then it'll be Matty Quash as well who'll be having another crack.
Yeah, they're starting to go single file through this section, but we wait for those 3 cars to make their pit stops and see what happens up the front as well. I think Dyke, did Dyke take a pit stop?
Jamie Dyke has indeed made a pit stop. Everyone, with the exception of a few cars towards the tail end of the field, took their stops on lap 10. Paul Gerlin was lap 5, so he'll be trying to save fuel to make his way home. He's sitting in P16 ahead of Andrew Cowan on lap 10. Mal Powell pitted on lap 11, and he's 19. So Degowie's the furthest back of the drivers who are yet to pit, and that's a battle back up in front. That's Darren Lobb, you can see, disappearing up into the distance as Tanek and Dyke will continue to stoush with each other.
Yeah, Dyke's just sitting here trying to get all of the pressure on, make him make a mistake and go down the inside, but no, just sits there, waiting patiently as he's done.
So Degowie's now being passed by 2 more drivers as Quash and Sanfuentes will get through. How do you say that name, Tyson, with him being one of your stable mates? Is it Sanfuentes? You just say Jerry.
I'll just say Jerry.
Yeah, you don't even bother with the last name.
Yep.
Go get him, Jerry.
Ooh, is that P1?
That is indeed. Darren Lobb has just got a drive-through penalty.
What has happened there? We might try and get on top of that and get a replay of this of that restart, because there was so much action going on in the restart. We actually might have missed it.
Yeah, because it was something to do with restart procedure.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll try and get on top of that, guys, so we can give you a view of what's happening, because I'm actually quite curious to see what's happened there as well.
I heard a complaint about it a while back, and I just went, oh, okay. I have no idea what that was about, but I guess we've just now found it, because I was more thinking the contact that was made under the safety car queue, because Ty Delaney was back.
Yeah, I was expecting it because of that as well, and now it's a race leader. That's mega.
My word. Well, we're gonna try and bring you images as Degowie finally yields on that old rubber and will make his way down pit lane. It will be a short stop because the fuel fill won't be massive, but it does not matter. It's going to be a world of pain from Reese Degowie. Lobb did not serve his penalty that time by. Race control have issued it in the simulation, so he will have a maximum of 3 laps to serve that one, at which point he will be removed from the server and disqualified. But Lobb, I would say, would probably just serve that one and take wherever he finishes. Anyway, time for an advertisement from Pagnian Advanced Simulations. Indeed, I've actually spoken to a few people about gear coming your way from Pagnian Advanced Simulations this week. The new Moser wheels are on their way out if you want to have a look. Nathan Allen, one of our drivers that you'll see in the Dirt Sprintcars Porsche Cup NASCAR truck, he's indeed just picked up some new gear courtesy of Pagnian Advanced Imports and said he received his gear a couple weeks earlier than he was indeed expecting. Either way, they are your leading experts in next level racing gear for all the sim gear that you see on the screen, your best ways to get yourself involved, how you take yourself from the desk rig all the way through your A-frame rigs, all the way into your top level equipment. Your guys from Pagnian Advanced Simulations are going to be the guys to talk to. If you want some more information, go ahead and visit them today. And indeed, you can receive 5% off your order with the codes in our chat. I believe it's 5%. Don't let me run on with that one, but I believe it is 5%. Either way, jump on to Next Level Racing. Pagnian Advanced Imports for your Next Level Racing gear today. Right. Still looking for what's caused. So the issue was that safety car was not in pit lane when Darren Lobb went. And for those of you at home would be sitting here and going, well, why is that, Scott? Why is that, Tyson? Tyson, you're an expert in these things safety car related with that trigger finger of yours?
Well, yeah, that's right. So the track technically isn't green yet when he's gone. So there's still caution on the track. You know, even though it's a safety car, it's still caution on the track. So the track isn't safe to go racing on. He's chosen to go racing, and that's why he's got his drive-through penalty.
Right, and it's because that safety car isn't capable of the same speeds as the rest of the field. So he's trying to make his way back in pit lane. The same way that a Formula One car in real life is much, much quicker than either... is it an Aston Martin or Mercedes AMG safety car? Yep.
That's right. Unless you got Tyson McAvoy behind the wheel, then it's, you know, that safety car ain't going on.
It's setting the world record. It's that safety car. Indeed. You know what?
Car 12 has also got the drive-through penalty. It's just been coming up on our screen as we see now. Gerard go around the outside of the 666 car into the little, I guess, bus stop chicane thingy.
Jerry was expecting that penalty as well. I get that feeling.
Yeah, he definitely was. I think he definitely made contact at this corner here, and that car went straight to the fence. So he's again, he hasn't had much luck in this series. He's sitting nice in the championship, but he's just week after week, it's problem after problem. He's either dropping out of the race, or he's had just impacts with other cars. So as we see our race leader now taking his drive-through penalty.
I can actually tell you that all drivers have now finished their assigned stops, because Brad Wall, and who was the other one? Clutterbuck. Both of those guys have now dropped outside the top 10. So everyone has now completed at least a splash of fuel. With 10 minutes left on the track, time is running out for Brad Wall to recover back through the field. He's got back up to P18. There's another car pitting there, which was, it was Hodgkinson was the last car that needed to pit. Hodgkinson will now trundle down pit lane to serve his service.
Yep, and he's going to get that fresh try. There's only, I think, 12 minutes left, or 11 minutes left in his race, sorry, and he's going to be charging. So, 11 minutes in this race, it's going to be a pretty hard challenge for him to push through.
Call it the golden hour, this late hour in the day, because it provides enough light to make colours really pop on the cars. And that's what we're seeing in terms of the cars at the moment. But the one thing it really does allow for those brake discs. See that? That glow, that orange glow inside those wheels. That is all the heat that it allows the heat off those brake discs to really show itself on the track. It's really cool.
Yeah, so on the comms now with race control as well, the Darren Lobb after he served his penalty.
So Lobb's now served his penalty, I believe.
Yeah, he's just served it. He's in pit lane, trundling down the order. It's not what you want, especially as a driver, you know, you're leading the race. Something so simple can cost you, you know, almost a guaranteed win. He was definitely the fastest car out there. He's led most of this race. It's a shame to see him come you know, one mistake like that, and it's cost him.
Procedural mistakes, they're important. He's going to rejoin in P5 and not be out of things yet. So Lob is actually sitting in 3rd place in terms of our Super 1s tonight. Kai Turner's your leading Super 2 driver. Troy Dooley's done a phenomenal job in Super 2. And Matty Keeney continues to just put that car in podium contention week in, week out. And that championship between both himself and Cowan, well, it's been win-win-win the last 2 weeks for Matty Keenan's Super 2. So his points buffer was starting to accelerate away. Keen's not having the greatest night here tonight. It was an opportunity for Cowie to grab some points back. Father's Day has not been kind to Cowie.
That's right. Him and his average sim racing, Mobile, he's pushing on. But you're right, it's not been the best of days for him, especially the performance in racing. We haven't got Harry Dodds here tonight. He's got some technical issues with his PC. Sure, he'd be cheering on the boys from his mobile phone or sitting there on the TikTok or something. I'm not sure, Mr. Doddsy. But if you're in the chat, make it A. And you've definitely missed a lot of carnage. So this isn't a bad race to use as your drop round.
Well, hang on, what's going on here? Because Stefan Lawrence is now missing his bonnet. And Blake Delaney's all over him. Yeah, it's Delaney. I'm sure it's Delaney. Yeah, it is indeed Delaney. It's all over the rear bumper of him. So Stefan Lawrence, something's happened to him late on in this piece. Will the DSL Welding Services potentially tell us what's going on here?
Has he had a spin and just smacked the wall? Because there's no cars around him. So he's up on that curb. He's clipping the grass. Don't see anything here.
Still fine.
Yep, and he's
still
ran wide.
My word, I have no idea what's going on there.
It just wanted to show us some slow-mo footage, I think.
The camera is fantastic. That'll do it.
What happened, Mr. Drifter?
Fires it into the barrier. Bootlid decides to go the other way. So again, I'm telling you, the guys are walking around afterwards, picking up all the bits and pieces. It's just curbing. There's a trough in that curb, and he's got one tyre, his rear tyre has been sitting either side of that curb, and he's picked up the throttle. It's just fired the car.
Yeah, that's a tough one there, especially he's just driving his line, just ran wide. You know, especially if you're overhitting the rear of these wheels, you can use so much exit because the exit curves are slippery. There's not much grip on them, and as soon as you get the wheel spin there, you just fly off and into the fences. We just see that as we see the David there getting a bit loose on the grippy stuff.
Yes, keep it on the grippy stuff, the black stuff. Compared to cricket, where you want to put it on the green stuff. Big shout out to all the guys that are actually out there as well in broadcast land. We've got Buffer Proctor from the SLM. Oh, it's Andrew Proctor. He's Buffer from the SLM team looking in on his boys. Matty Keen's not having the best of nights, but he's doing all right. Big battle up front indeed. Jamie Dyke defending quite aggressively there from Sam Noble. So this is actually now for the race
win. He was trying to make a move. Like, he's just putting the pressure on. Because the 1-2-3 car of Tanek, he's just really sitting there. And he's under the pump from Jamie Dyke.
Speaking of drivers that haven't had a great season, well, there's one of them right there. Catching lap traffic at this point in time as well is Michael Locke, one of the SLM cars is just up the road, and then Ty Delaney. So these guys will get right out of the way. They've dodged each other and managed to continue on. Both of them trying to do the right thing by the race leaders. That's the important thing, and that's what Race Control will have a look at in that one. They're both trying to get out of the way. Both of them chose different manners to do it, and that's what you saw on the right-hand side of your screen just before. Right, 5 minutes left to go. No more safety cars. Cross that business out. We've had 2 here for the Hungaroring tonight.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate there. These boys are pushing hard, catching lap traffic. It was good to see lap traffic, you know, just saying, hey, I don't want to be a part of this. Go past, see you later. And, you know, continue with their race.
Well, Lobby is continuing to close down in on Kai Turner. That margin has dropped to 1.3 seconds. And I tell you what, there's less than a second between everyone in the top 5 now. So, Lob is coming. He is closing in on Turner. And Turner may not necessarily want to fight this one because he's a good way ahead of Troy Dooley, who is second place in Super 2s. 11 seconds separates those guys. Matty Keed is now closing on Troy Dooley, so there could potentially be a late race fight back. Tanek is starting to struggle. He's managed to pull away just a little bit on that lap, and Noble has put a little bit of distance on him. Sorry, from Jamie Dyke has put a little bit of distance on Noble, and here comes Darren Lobb. So with a few minutes left in this race, we'll have probably 2 more laps left to run.
Well, that's it. And if these guys push on like this, you got, you know, Jamie Dyke 6 tenths, and then behind 8 tenths, 7 tenths, and then Darren Lobb 1 second. You know, that's only like 4-second gap, and he's got to push on to try and wait for these boys to make a mistake, and he might be right back in this podium spot, even maybe onto the race win. We only got, as you said, 2 minutes to go. Oh, sorry, 5 minutes to go.
So under 5. Yep. And Kai Turner, if you're in his shoes, do you know you're leading Super 2? You would assume he would know, but he's had such a strong performance here tonight. Does he want to have a crack at an overall round podium? Well, Darren Lobb is going to try and drive his way back through. That is the margin that you're seeing for your top 5. All of them in the same shot going through the middle of the circuit. They're closing on Steven Sinkovic, who's another back marker. So there'll probably be at least 2 more laps. They've got enough time here, Tyson. They'll get another 2 laps in yet. And Lobb is coming. I don't know if he'll get back all the way up to the race lead, but there's an opportunity for a podium here still for Darren Lobb.
That's right, and it's up to Jamie Dyke to see when he wants to make a move, or is he going to sit there and just wait for Bruce, pressure him under the brakes? Like Jamie's already, look, he's shaping his car to have a look. And it's all about this exit, because I think turn 1 is probably your best bet for a good pass.
But you can hang it around the outside down in turn number 1 as well. You can't just get it to the inside down here and just automatically assume the move's on. It's such a tricky corner. It flips back on itself. That's Steven Sinkovic, the lap car that we were just talking about on the rundown into turn number 1. 2 laps left here in this race, and Lobb is now at the rear bumper of Kai Turner. So Turner's got to defend this one. We'll see how aggressive he wants to get, whether he wants to show his colours. This is an opportunity for Kai Turner to test himself against Darren Lobb. The likes he wouldn't have had an opportunity of this calibre so far this season either.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge. You know, you want to sit here and hold off, you know, the fastest guy in the session, or you got to, you know, just let him go. And it's probably even better if he lets him go, because he might be able to capitalise on a mistake from Noble out in front here.
Well, Turner makes the mistake and runs wide at the kink at the top of the hairpin. These guys don't want to squabble. Lobb just wants to get this move done. He's going to look to fire it down the inside of the chicane. He's up alongside. He's got that one done. So Kai Turner yields, and now Lobb will get through. He's up to P4. Has he got enough time to get back down and after Sam Noble? Dyke and Tanek will continue to duel. 0.3 of a second cover those guys. We look further back. This is Brad Wall on the recovery effort. He's had to make a green flag pit stop. One of 3 or 4 drivers that have had to make that pit stop tonight under green flag conditions. Down the inside of Greg Johnson. He'll make contact with him. He loses the spot back to Chris Miller, and Brad Wall will try and recover that one back through. So this is actually for position. So Greg Johnson was looking for 2 into 1 was Brad Wall, and Greg Johnson just turned in as well. So Wall did not get that opportunity. We're on the last lap of the race now as they come out of the last corner. They'll grab the white flag. 1 more lap left to run. 5 seconds, less than 5 seconds cover your top 5. And Lobb, well, his best opportunity to get that move done is now going to be down here, and he's not close enough to Noble. He may close in the back half of the lap, and you'll have a stab if you're in that position.
Look at Dyke, he's putting all the pressure on here. Jamie is, he's getting, he puts on the power, did the same thing as Tanek in front.
And Daniel Fritz is backward. Daniel Fritz has had a spin in the middle of the track as well. He's going slowly in between turn 5 and the chicane.
Yeah, I think that might have cost Jamie some time there, that little mistake, as that gap has opened up to 1.5 car lengths again.
And look at Lobb. He's got incident points to spare. He's driven cleanly all night. Last lap of the race. Can't get a 0x race. May as well burn a few of those off.
Yeah, that's right. Especially if you're pushing and you lose a bit more off the off-track limit, off the side here, the run-off, and take a bit more curve. Sometimes you might get a slowdown, so you might have to gamble a bit. As you see him there, taking all their track deck, pipping it all, and he's probably going to hold on to this podium spot. I'm backing him for that.
Well, Sam Noble is going to be under assault here in a moment by Darren Lobb. Time is running out for Darren Lobb, though. We'll see if he can get back up there. Blake Delaney's got back up another spot, gets ahead of another car. I believe that might have been lap traffic, actually, that I was hearing him talking about just in the background. Lob's got a few more corners to get this done. Tanek's far enough ahead. He's going to have to make a mistake in the final 2 corners now. Lob continues to close. Time is running out to recover his way back to that podium. So it's going to be Noble that'll get there again, barring a major error in the final corner. And that penalty from Darren Lobb goes from winner to off the podium. He'll not be happy with that one about race procedures. So he'll have to reviewing a little look. Bruce Tanek gets it done in Hungary.
Yeah, and Jamie Dyke P2. It was a good drive again from those. We see a car there spinning at the back there. I'm not sure who that is.
I'm going to say Steven Sinkovic because I think he was down and around there.
Don't forget, these boys do have to complete the cool-down lap, but congratulations, Bruce. A great drive.
So they'll file their way back through. Kai Turner's going to win your Super 2 here tonight. Troy Dooley and Matty Keane will make up the podium there. Good recovery effort from Darren Lobb, and he was probably 1 lap away from making his way back onto the podium. Jamie Dyke will make his way into P2, but Bruce Tanek is going to take out the hour in Hungary.
Blake Delaney had a good drive. He got up to 7th position after those first few hiccups that he's had. It was a good drive. He went back from 10 spots up in the start of the race, back all the way down again, and then he crawled his way back for a top 10 finish.
Well, that V8 Supercar Sam Nobles looked a fair bit better at the start of that lap. I think he's enjoying this celebration cool-down lap.
Yeah, it looks like he is.
Kai Turner will be immediately in behind him. Few cars left to run. Brad Wall will be the next one across the line. Callum Hodgkinson will follow him. So recovery effort from Wall, not a good one. He's had a few good races here this season, but it's unfortunate for Brad because he's not been able to string the complete race together by the end of it. And Blake Delaney is now missing his rear wing. So again, more carbon fibre for you to go digging for, Tyson.
I think I've already got enough. While you were chatting away, maybe might have went and got some, but... No, let's not show this car on the stream.
Mate, look at that car control.
No, I've seen better car control than that. Especially off his teammates. His teammates have done a much better drive. But no, a big congratulations to our podium finishers though, and everybody here at SRW, especially for the safety car guys tonight in race control. They had their hands full, a lot of incidents, a lot of paperwork for them to do. But hey, I'll hand it to you now, Scotty, for the finishing order.
I was going to say, the head and neck restraint device got its work out here tonight from Hungary. That is your finalised running order. P1, 2, and 3 on the road. P1, 2, and 3 in Super 1. So Bruce Tanek from Jamie Dyke, Sam Noble, Darren Lobb in Super 1. Kai Turner finishes his first race win from the Super 2 field. He's had a few strong finishes, but it's been a case of putting that complete race together. I think Matty Keane was second place from his Super 2 drivers. And it's Troy Dooley and Matty Keane will round out your podium. That's one of the best finishes for Troy Dooley as well. It's been another driver who's had some reasonable starts, but hasn't put complete races together. As somebody finishes celebrating in the background. Is that Daniel Fritz? I think it was Daniel Fritz. I want to say it's Daniel Fritz. Anyway, righto, we'll move on to our podium celebration straight away, and we'll start our race finish off with the 953 driver of Sammy Noble. Sam, trying to hold off Darren Lobb in that closing lap. You had a reasonable margin at the start of the lap. When it wasn't done at turn 1, you got to back yourself in around Hungary.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Sam.
Hello.
Sam, can you hear us?
Yes, sorry, Mike decided to not work on Discord.
You get invited to the podium room. You get to come celebrate. Of course, it's the only time you ever have sound failure all season, right?
I'm not used to it, so I never check.
Mate, talk to us about about the night. Qualified on the second row of the grid. Was a reasonable start, reasonable run to turn number 1, reasonable fight right the way through. You're just sort of in with a sniff all night long.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I just literally jumped on about half an hour before, and it was an old setup, and just come to have some fun. My wife just had a baby a week ago, so it hasn't been much practicing, hasn't been much sleep. So to stick with Jamie and those guys, even though they're pulling away, but to even be a few tenths from them was really good for me.
Mate, what a way to celebrate your first ever Father's Day with a P3 in the DSL Welding Services V8s.
Not first, but it's my third child. But
Third, okay.
Yeah.
First one for this child.
So yeah, it's It's funny. I seem to drive well when I'm not concentrating, so maybe I need to be distracted more often.
Less sleep's apparently the thing that makes you drive better. Who knew?
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be fantastic in 24-hour racing teams then, for sure.
Like, give me a late stint, I'll kill it.
Just don't put him on when he's had a full night's rest. It's been a tricky season for you. You've been in and around the podium a few times, but not quite able to seal the deal towards the tail end of races. Peak pace has not been about there, but you've been inside that top 5 just about every single race of the season.
Yeah, this is my third race. I missed the first 2, just because I think I was a bit late to register, and I wasn't put onto the system. But at the first race, I think I finished 4th, and I had a 3rd overall last 2 weeks ago. Then I missed last week because my wife, selfishly thought she should have a baby during that period. So yeah, but no, I'm really happy. I'm really enjoying this league. It's good racing and it's good fun.
Well, I tell you what, I'll keep it nice and simple for you. I'll let you go here this evening because obviously you're going to want to try and catch a few fair bit of shut eye, shall we say? So your opportunity, Sam, to thank the people that make it possible for you, mate.
Just want a big shout out to 95 Sim Sports, Sean McNamara, for still having me. I'm just trying to find our sponsors, but I think with Racecast Simulations, RSW Graphics, Racing Ears, Cutting Edge Tracks, and 3D printing. I think I'm going from memory, so that's not a good idea when you haven't got much sleep. But yep, thanks for those guys, and thanks for everyone tonight, and you guys for putting on the event. It's an awesome league.
Awesome. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Noble, driver of the 953, 3rd place tonight here from the Hungaroring. Moving on to the next driver. I think we've spoken to him enough this season. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Dyke, interview over.
You're very funny, Ranker.
Mate, another night, another podium, another interesting one. You've been busy from what my little birdies tell me so far today.
Yeah, screwing up Sandown 500, throwing that out the window, and
No surprise there.
yeah, yep, pretty much. And I came into the race tonight. I had a good qualifying setup. Put the race set on and forgot to change the gear stack. Had 9.6 in it, and it takes 10.74. So I'm just glad I'm in.
You were running out of momentum at the tail end of the straight, peaking out in 6th gear.
No. I was too long, so
enough.
I wasn't
Right.
topping. I wasn't topping 5th gear.
Oh my word!
Yeah, I was driving a 5-speed tonight.
Okay, well, you were just practicing for your NASCAR Cup Series, right? They've only got 5 gears. Yeah, that's basically how it all works.
Yeah.
Long Sunday afternoon then for you by the sounds of things. Hungaroring. Tight, tricky, technical track. Not a lot of overtaking going on. It was sort of just single file out in front for most of that race.
Yeah. Because of the gear stack, I couldn't get any drive out of the corners. I had plenty of mid-corner speed, but yeah, I had no drive. So sticking in Bruce's draft helped me, and then I think on lap 26 he cooked his tyres and I had a chance, and yeah, I couldn't get it done. So well done to him, but I'll take a P2 with that kind of setup.
How are you feeling about tomorrow night, mate? Because it'll be your debut on the Super Speedway of Talladega in the NASCAR Truck Series.
Debut in SRW.
Debut, Super Speedway debut. Yes.
Yes. Feeling pretty good. Done a little bit of pack racing practice. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. See if I can destroy that race as well.
Glad you said it, not me.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Dyke, driver of the 080, and these are the people that make it possible for Jamie.
Infinity Designs, Precision Sim Training, DC Shades, Relax Marine and Game Fishing, Adrenaline Images, West End Mazda, Parramatta Isuzu, Parramatta Peugeot Professionals, Parramatta Great Wall, Haval, and all the guys in the team. Well done today.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm
same
just
as
going to
usual.
say that before we go anywhere, Dyke, you need to do that from now on because you do that 20 million times better than all your teammates. So, well done.
Thanks, man.
And yet we call Blake Delaney the spokesperson for the team, I thought.
Exactly.
He is the male model. Of course, he's the spokesperson.
Yeah, he looks good on camera. You just don't turn your camera on again, Jamie. That's all. Mate, congratulations tonight. Have a great finish. Enjoy your rest of your Sunday.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Jamie. And moving on to our race and therefore round winner, Mr. Bruce Tannick. Brucey. Well, when they fall into your laps, you got to obey all the rules to get to the tail end of a race and win it. And sometimes they just fall your way.
Yeah, I will take it, absolutely. I'm not going to be honest, that's the first time I've beaten Darren, I think, without him crashing out or whatever. And obviously, I'd like to beat him straight up, but Christ, he told me after the race his set was just dynamite. Like, he put 2 seconds on me. Admittedly, I think it was kind of soft, coldish tyres, but yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's a little hollow when the guy who's that fast doesn't get a chance. That was crazy. But hey, it's cool to watch.
We had a look at it at the end of qualifying because you two were lining up on the front row. Amazing start. Nearly got down the inside at turn number 1. That would have made things tricky for Mr. Darren Lobb, but obviously didn't work out that way. But 7/10 of an advantage in qualifying. I mean, you sort of expected that little bit of a run when, a guy's minimum of 7/10 a lap faster.
Yeah, and one thing about Darren is he's obviously been doing this a long time and he's super smooth. Like, he just doesn't make mistakes. And that's my weakness. I make mistakes when I start to go off. I push too hard or whatever. Whereas I'd say it's probably gone the other way now. Sometimes I'm a bit too cautious. Like, if he can put 2 seconds a lap on you, he's just pushing. But yeah, I'll hit him up for that set because it seems to be pretty good.
Mr. Darren Lobb, if you'd like to share that set with all of us, I think is the way that we're all going at this rate. Look, Hungaroring, she's tough, she's tricky. Cadence braking comes into it a lot around the Hungaroring. It's all about being super smooth on the way onto a pedal, on the way off to a pedal. Lots of corners that just seem to drag on forever. Mate, she's a great track, though.
I love it, yeah. Like, I've had some real good races here. The thing I love the most is that the tyre... Okay, obviously SRW runs some really good tyre temps and track conditions, so we don't... I mean, obviously, it does take skill to run around at 45 degrees, but I still think it's better racing when everyone's got a little bit of car underneath them still. And also the safety cars helped us, keep the tyres quite young. I think if we had gone unbroken, obviously Darren would have driven away, would have been 10 seconds up the road, but the rest of us 2, 3, 4, and I think whether or not, I don't know, I had a sneaky suspicion that Blake was doing maybe a saving strategy. So if we had to pit again after the first safety car, if the second one didn't come, we would have still needed a second pit. So, but no, this track's awesome because it's got a bit of everything. Like you said, it's got sweeping corners, hairpins, and you jump back. I haven't driven here in ages, so it was quite cool to come back.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're now towards the tail end of the season. You look back at the season that's been so far, and I've just got so many memories of just seeing you, unfortunately, in the wall. It's not been the perfect season I think you would have liked. You've had pace, you've showed the skill, you've showed the speed that it takes to certainly take podiums out just about every single week, but it's about putting that season together. Is there any regrets as we get into the final stages of the season?
Oh, no regrets. I mean, with the guys in here, like, I need to step up to be, like I said, do some more practice with Darren and stuff like that. But consistency is the main thing. Like, just making errors and then you get frustrated and then you throw it up the inside of someone because you think you're faster and you've maybe done it a bit too early or whatever. A bit more patience and so on. But yeah, I mean, making mistakes and then, like, especially Catalonia, I felt awesome there, and then I just cocked up qualifying and then made a mistake, and then before you know it, you're out of it. So yeah, just frustrating. I mean, it's late on a Sunday night for us in New Zealand, so it's good to finish off the week. But and it's been I really enjoyed it. But yeah, we'll try again next season and try and put if you have a bad result, try and make it a 5th or a 6th, not a 22nd.
It's about making sure that you maximize the points that you're not losing. It's about minimizing that loss as it sort of goes on. Well, either way, mate, congratulations for putting the 1-2-3 Mag and Turbo Motorsports on the top step of the podium here in the Hungaroring. I'm sure that'll be a result that you'll treasure for a little while to go yet.
Well, I mean, is this the last round? Have we got one more, or we've got two
No,
more?
we've got several more. We've got 3
Oh,
rounds
several more.
left. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just,
sweet.
you know,
Oh, sweet. I'll
It
leave.
sounded like there was one more, Scotty. That's all.
I'm just over here making it all sound like the season's drawing to a close. Because I looked at the point score and I've gone, Bruce shouldn't be that far back. He really
Yeah.
shouldn't. He's got enough pace to be better than that. That's just the way that the season goes sometimes.
Oh, yeah. And
You know what it is? It's because the All Blacks got a win yesterday, so he's the Kiwis got the momentum. That's what it is.
Anyway,
if I drive like they play, it'll be like 2 shitters and then one. So yeah.
oh Lord. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the driver of number 1-2-3. It's Bruce Tannock from Mag and Turbo Motorsport. Bruce, who makes it possible for you, mate?
It's all about myself, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, we don't basically it's just my own business and my own race car. I run a car in the National Drifting Series in New Zealand, and that's all my same livery and everything. So just doing some racing while we're in the off season and stuff, and obviously iRacing, picked it up during the COVID, like I'm sure a huge amount of people did. Nash got me into it, and then meeting people through the New Zealand connections with Darren and a whole other bunch of guys. But yeah, it's good. Like you see the same names pop up, and now I'm really stoked. So I just put my own business's name on it. I'm not foolish enough to think that anyone's going to pay me to go sim racing. That's for sure.
Mate, I have nowhere near your level of talent, and people pay me to go sim racing, so I don't know what you're on about.
No,
Anyway.
I'll take it. They give me shitloads of money to run a real car, so I'll do this for free.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Bruce Tannock, who manages to finally stick a win in the book of the DSL Welding Services V8 Supercar Series. Right, and that, ladies and gents, is going to wrap us up here on a Sunday night from the Hungaroring. Next week, tomorrow night, as things kick off, as they always do, we run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday nights off, and then back here on your Sundays. Tomorrow night, we will be back with the NASCAR Truck Series from the Super Speedway of Talladega. If you've ever heard of the movie Talladega Nights, this might be an opportunity to come have a look at what Super Speedway racing really is like. You've ever heard of a pack race? Well, it's a big angry horde of hornets. There is drafting aplenty. It takes a very unique skill set to be successful on those broadcasts. Tuesday nights will be your Dirt Sprint Car Series, and I believe, I'm just taking a quick look, where are we heading to this week? We're heading to Charlotte, the dirt track at Charlotte, known for its road course and its oval. There's a dirt track built inside the internals of the Charlotte oval course. So we'll be heading on our way to there in the Dirt 360 Sprint Cars. Wednesday night will bring to us the TCRs and Formula 3. TCR will be coming to you from Okayama. It will be a sprint round, so you'll see multiple races in the TCR, one of the few sprint rounds that we actually have on the season. Following that up will be the Formula 3, which will be coming live to you from... Look, I can't scroll through that many chat windows at the same time. Another Formula 1 track, actually. It's in Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, better known as Interlagos, in between lakes in Brazil. Wednesday night, we'll be bringing the SR8 Radicals, the things that are like V8 Supercars, but with a lot more downforce, as they are known. And they're heading to somewhere funky. I know that much this time around. I believe it is Laguna Seca, actually. We'll be heading to. Porsche Cup will be coming to you from the exact same place as the TCRs, which will be Okayama. And then V8 Supercars will be an Okayama race as well. That is next week of Motorsport coming to you courtesy of Sim Racing World. And with thanks to all the sponsors that make it possible for us. Once again, you're seeing that promo there for the Next Level Racing rigs from Pagnian Advanced Imports, Melville Equipment Corporation. Pole position once again goes to Darren Lobb. There'll be a video of his lap that'll go up towards the tail end of next week, so you'll be able to see the Melville Equipment Corporation fastest lap as well. Dragon RC, who make everything possible if you're looking at getting into remote control car racing. Well, one big reason is they're a fair bit cheaper, and they're actually cheaper than going simulator racing. Dragon RC are the guys to talk to if you're interested in any of that. And finally, DSL Welding Services is going to round us out from the sponsors list. For myself, Scotty Rattlegun Rankin, from the broadcast team here with Nathan Shibby Howard and Tyson needs a middle name, McElvoy. We are your Sim Racing World TV on a Sunday night. Ladies and gentlemen, have a very lovely weekend. Enjoy your Father's Day and say hi to your dads for me.